Everyone believes that sharks are aggressive, bloodthirsty monsters, and alligators have also been portrayed as the main villain in less famous thrillers and horror movies, although for some reason, many don't consider them so cruel. However, alligators are 100 times more dangerous than sharks, 1,000 human victims a year against only 10. Are you already feeling uncomfortable? Well, today, we will share with you the most exciting stories about different crocodiles and caimans, and you'll see just how dangerous they are. Let's get it on. Complex operation. There used to be a huge alligator living in Shamrock Park in Venice, Florida. It was almost 4 meters long and weighed 450 kilograms. People tried to stay away from the pond where the predator lived, and it was always recommended to keep other animals on a leash when walking in the park. Everything seemed to be going well until the inevitable happened. Once a couple of dogs were let off the leash by their irresponsible owners. In a matter of seconds, they were near the lake, and the gator didn't lose any time. One of the animals was never found, and the other one had to be put down due to multiple injuries. It became clear that the presence of the bloodthirsty reptile in the park could no longer be tolerated. Trained specialists came to fix the problem. They spent 2.5 hours taking the predator out of the bushes. Unfortunately, the gator had to be put down, although he wasn't to blame for what happened. Huge giant. Did you know that some species of crocodiles keep growing throughout their life? Thus, over many decades, their bodies can reach unimaginable sizes. Meet Lolong, the largest saltwater crocodile in captivity. It weighed a ton and reached 6 meters in length. Do you want to know how Lolong was caught? It's like a detective novel. Once this crocodile lived on the loose, and people started to go missing in the area. First, a 12-year-old girl, then a local fisherman. Obviously, everyone thought that it was the predator, and people decided to catch him immediately. But catching a huge beast that weighs almost a ton is no easy job. The operation lasted about 3 weeks. First, the hunters set giant traps in Lolong's habitat. The crocodile got into them, but easily tore the strong steel cables apart. Finally, after many attempts, the reptile was tied up and caught. It took a whole night and about 100 professional hunters. 2 years later, Lolong died of heart failure and stress in his enclosure. By the way, according to the investigation, his involvement in the disappearance of people was never actually proved. Today, the remains of the crocodile are kept in a museum in the Philippines. Unwanted visitor. Which sport can be more relaxing than golf? You don't have to run or put in any serious effort, and you're offered refreshments as well. Most likely, you can even get to the green in a special car. And also, you're surrounded by nature. A perfectly mowed lawn, ponds, picturesque trees. Look, there's even deer. Wait, what are they looking at? Oh, whoops. Apparently, people on golf courses often meet dangerous creatures. This happened in South Carolina, right in the middle of a game. A huge 3.5 meter long alligator appeared on the lawn. Fortunately, he left the scene as quietly as he came. However, he did make everyone around him rather nervous. Living legend. In Burundi in Africa lives a creature that many people consider to be a reincarnation of the devil. We are talking about Gustav, a giant Nile crocodile. He's about 75 years old, and stories about his bloodthirstiness are passed on from generation to generation by local residents and actively investigated by journalists. People tend to exaggerate facts when telling stories, and the exact number of Gustav's victims is actually unknown. But throughout his long life, Gustav has killed at least 300 people. This killing machine operates near the Ruzizi River and the Lake Tanganyika. The most amazing thing is that, according to rumors, the predator does not hunt people for food. He just kills them and leaves them there. There is a possibility that the crocodile is not interested in more typical prey like antelopes or large fish because of his incredible size. It's believed that Gustav is one of the largest animals of his species in the world. His body measures at least 6 meters in length, and his weight exceeds a ton. But he's never been measured with a tape measure, for obvious reasons. However, Gustav can be easily identified not only because of his size, his whole body is covered with numerous bullet scars, which could not defeat the African predator. Many hunters were sent to catch the predator, but no one was able to defeat the crocodile. 20 years ago, there was a rumor in Burundi that Gustav had finally died, but in 2008, journalists saw him again in the jungle. So it seems that the ruthless reptile is still alive and keeps on hunting people. Unusual pets. Meeting a crocodile, most of us would try to run away, but some adventurers devote their lives to work with these deadly predators. This is the case of Rob Bredel from Australia. His family has been working side by side with 3-meter reptiles on a croc farm for 3 generations. During his entire career, Rob himself caught a couple of hundred predators and fed and cared for more than 1,000. For him, there's nothing special about it, and this has long been part of his daily routine. However, this does not mean that working with dangerous reptiles was easy for Rob and his family. One of his relatives, for example, was attacked by a 700-kilogram monster right in the family zoo. Thankfully, the woman survived. She had to undergo about 30 surgeries though, and spent more than 2 months in hospital. All this, however, does not scare Rob at all. He continues to ride on the backs of huge crocodiles and ferocious record holder. What animals come to your mind when you think about Australia? Kangaroos, koalas, and crocodiles, of course. There are only 2 species of crocodiles in this country, but the local saltwater crocodile is the largest species in the world, and it's only natural that the largest specimen also lives in this country. The predator's named Cassius, after Cassius Clay, who you probably known as Muhammad Ali. The crocodile was ranked the largest in the world in 2013, after the death of its competitor, Lolong. The predator was caught back in 1984. It's believed that today he's over 110 years old, and before the crocodile arrived to an Australian reserve, he was the terror of the jungle, and numerous scars on his face and body are a proof of this. Cassius's favourite pastime was biting off the engines of boats passing by. There's no exact information about the number of his victims, but you can easily imagine the attack of a monster that weighs 1 ton and measures 5.5 meters on a flimsy riverboat. Lucky catch. In 2014, these images from Central America went viral. A huge monster was pulled out of the waters of the Panama Canal. It happened in the port town of Colón, from where the predator was later transported to the Lake Gatun. As reported, it took a lot of people because the reptile was incredibly heavy. The newspapers reported that it was the largest crocodile in history in Panama, because on the photo, he really looks enormous. However, no one ever specified the exact weight of the animal, and people started wondering if the animal was really that huge. Just take a look at the images. From this angle, the animal seems larger than it actually is. You might think that he's lying on the ground, but in fact, he's on the roof of a truck. This is confirmed by other pictures. What an illusion. Later, it turned out that the mysterious beast is only 3 meters long, which is quite average for the species. Best friend. Australian naturalist Matt Wright is also known for his unusual taste for pets. Instead of a dog, he decided to adopt a crocodile.
Personally, I think he's about 2,300 pounds.
Moreover, he called him Tripod because he doesn't have one leg. Yes, this guy clearly has a great sense of humor. Although most people don't laugh when they meet Tripod, because the monster again weighs about 1 ton and he's more than 5 meters long. According to Matt, his pet likes to hang out in the backyard and has been living with him for over 5 years. The guy would love to let his friend go, but because of his limb injury and the fact that he used to live on a crocodile farm, he probably wouldn't survive in the wild. By the way, the wife of the naturalist even founded her own business related to her husband's passion. The woman produces her own line of face and body care products, which are based on crocodile fat. This substance helps to slow down the aging of skin and deeply nourishes it. By the way, in ancient times, it was used by Cleopatra herself. Road traffic violation. The next time you get stuck in a traffic jam and complain about your life, remember this footage and how some people have it worse than you. In North Carolina, for example, road traffic can collapse because of a giant crocodile chilling on the road. Even the fact that you're protected from the predator by a layer of glass and metal will hardly calm you. Who knows what the beast has in mind? New champion. After the tragic death of the Philippine giant Lolong, Pangil, a new record breaker, appeared in the country. The size of this crocodile is, of course, slightly more modest, if this word can be used to describe such huge animals. Pangil is almost 5.5 meters long, and today he lives in a park in